Hi, so this is my PHP OOP assignment. So I use the some of the jQuery UI functionality. So here's the users table. When you click on the view leads link, it should filter it out by the client ID, and well, it should show just for the sites or the leads for Michael Choi. So there you go. So it should be also doing the same thing for the others entries like Joe Smith, Ryan Owen, and yeah. So let's go to the sites. So the sites does the same thing. It's just that the filter now is the domain name or the website. So when I click on see all leads, it will look up all of the market.com domain name, as you can see here. So I believe the users, the client user is also the owner of the particular sites. So it will just show how many, or basically each entries for each site. So now for the leads table, I have these two drop down boxes. So for each client, so when I choose Michael Choi, it should just filter by Michael Choi. Choose Joe Smith. It should show all of the Joe Smith leads. Now, if we choose the site instead, then it will just show all of the sites. So the filter is not dependent on both, but it just depends on um, per drop down box. So it will just filter the table by the client or just by the website. So for the filter date, so let's just try to look for the same site. So Feb 11 2011. So let's go to that. So basically this program doesn't look for the entries until you fill out the from and to boxes. So Feb 11 to today. So there you go. So from Feb 11 to up to today, so these are all the entries available. So you can shorten this one. Just look for maybe December. So all of the 2011s from Feb 11. So here are my codes. So basically, let's go first to our class. So I just created one class thanks to KB for her feedback. So I just called it mockups. Anyway, so here's my constructor, which is just to connect to the database, and I create a variable client ID. I think I think I didn't use that. So anyway, so here are my codes. So there's a function to list all the clients, which is used in the users tab. The list sites would be to list all the sites under the sites tab, and for the list leads for all of the, well, by default, if you haven't filtered the leads tab, then it will just list all of the leads. Then I've also set a filter by client ID. This is used by the users table and also the drop down menu. And the site ID, so for the sites table, or basically this one, and this one. It's using the same function. And by date, so basically, as you can see, I'm getting two parameters to um, filter out my query using the where clause. Anyway, so let's go to the index.php. So I used well, Ajax and jQuery. So for jQuery, I just use the jQuery UI for the tabs and the date picker. So there you go. So here I basically um, included the class library that I created and instantiated the class mockups. Okay, so I instantiated it again for this part and also for the sites tab. Then for the drop down list, I just use the query to list the clients and then just get the client ID and the first name and last name. And for the list of the sites, so I use, since I've instantiated the mockup class, I just have to call a function and pass it to a variable. So that's for the sites filter or drop down box, and then this is for the from and to date pickers. So as I've mentioned, by default it will list all the leads if you haven't filtered the leads tab. But if you do, we'll call a jQuery function that will basically replace all the contents of this T body. So let's just go to the other PHP file that I used. So I called it filter.php, and its function is to basically return the queries that I've added into the methods in the mockups class. So yeah, so if the CID has been set, then it will filter out the leads table by its client ID. Then if not, let's check if there's an SID if there's an SID that has been set, then filter it out by site ID. And the last filter would be the from and to. So if it has been set, then it will just check basically the inputs for the from and to um, date pickers. So that's it. And well, I hope that made the trick. So there you go. As you can see, when I change the dates, it's actually interactive now, and I think it's much better now than the last time that I sent it to KB. Alright, well, thank you.